So the first scene, we just looked at basic 3D objects inside the Unity space, and we looked at certain physics, certain attributes like rigid body, bounce, and there are tons and tons of behaviors. You can see you can add components, all types of components. David had a trail component and whatnot. Where are we going from here is we are going to try to get to understand variables and some user interface elements. So what you see here is being read by a font. In my assets folder, if I put a font, I can start using that font. So let me show you. Only some fonts can be used, not all fonts. If I just go right click, reveal in Finder, somewhere I have in Unity Learn, I have I've got some fonts here which I'm going to put inside my current folder. My current project folder is IDM semester 1, I think. Yep. So under assets, I'm going to put this folder, fonts. I put it under assets. And under fonts, I have a TTF file. This TTF file has been downloaded from dafont.com. Anybody use dafont.com? There are many sites which give free fonts. Unity will allow you to use it only if it is free of copyright issues. If the font has got any copyright information embedded, Unity will not allow you to use it, because when you publish games, the game should be free of copyright issues in all respects. Okay? When you're learning, it's okay, but when you're publishing games, you can't be stealing assets, ideas, textures. You can't be doing that. So fonts, if you want to use, you got to use fonts which are in the public domain. That font that I've used comes from here, one of these fonts. So I've put it here. I'm going to make a new scene. I'll make a file, new scene, and I'm going to save this scene. I'm going to save it into my scenes folder as user interface or UI example. I'll just go UI example. So when you open a project and you can't see anything, generally what you want to do is you want to go to scenes and you want to double click on a scene to see the objects in that scene. So let's do a UI. Let's create some UI elements. Under game object, user interface, there is text, there's image, there's slide bar. I will show an image thing that I use for my health. So the whole idea is, you saw that game that I showed you guys probably a few weeks ago. We want to try and build something very simple. Okay. Now, if you think at the end of 6 months you're going to build WoW, forget it. Okay, just go home and sleep. That's not going to happen. But you want to get used to the concept of programming and understanding this engine. So we're going to keep the scope limited, and I'll show you a few things with regards to that. So now the first thing I'm going to do is show you some text. So when I say game object UI text, the text comes with a canvas. And if I zoom out really out, you can see that's the canvas. That is the canvas, that thing you're seeing, and the text sits on top of the canvas. And this event system, don't delete it. Just because you don't know what it is, don't delete it. You delete it, nothing will work. So I've got a text. I'm going to call this as, let's say, name. Now, there are a few things here. You see, this is the font. If I click on the dot, it will pick up anything which is inside the project scope. So because I put that font, if I put it anywhere inside that folder, it will pick it up. I've organized it. I put it in. It doesn't have to be in a folder called fonts. This TTF can be anywhere inside the project. In fact, anywhere under assets is fine. It will pick it up. So suppose I have this, I've changed the font, and you can see the font has changed. There is font size. Now the font size breaks because the width is not enough. One thing you can do is, if you're trying to increase it, you can change the wrap to overflow. If you change it to overflow, it will allow you to overflow, vertical overflow, overflow. Oh yeah, if I allow it to overflow, it will allow me to go bigger. Okay. To align it to my page, what I do is, if you press the Alt key and click on this and bring it somewhere here, see, you can position it on your screen easily. Bottom corner, okay, wherever you want it. Now there's a gap on the right because the width, yeah, see the width, because of the width. Okay, so normally what I do is I go for the left because of left aligning. Go here, and then if I want a bit of a padding, I'll just I'll change the position and move it down. Now if you want things like score and a score, then you need two of them. So this thing will be, I'll call it player name. I'm just going to do two things. So that's player name, and there's name. I'm going to call it player, and I'm going to make a duplicate of it. Control D makes a duplicate, or right click duplicate. Okay, and this is the actual player.
Control V and Control D.
D is duplicate, V is paste. Okay, so this one here is just saying that the player, and this is my variable. This is where the player will actually change. I need two more, so I'm going to have what I've done is I've duplicated it and moved it down. This one is going to be score, and just to make it clear, this will be the player, this will be the name variable, name var. Score, then I have score var. So, and I'll call this name. So I've got name, then name variable, score, then score variable. Now name, the text should say name. The variable is, the name will come there. Score should say score. Oh, I did a mistake. Score should say score, and score var will be the score will come there. Okay. Now these two are variables which will change. How do we change variables? Let's look at variables and linking them to a particular thing here. So this is just a setup of the UI. Under Canvas we have many things. We have many things. I will be putting up links every day. The best way to learn this tool is to learn it from Unity itself. They've got amazing tutorials. So if you go to unity3d.com, just don't fall.
If it doesn't work, then we've got then these 2 weeks to make it work before we go on break. After break, we've got up to here, where we can do the final testing and final submission. So here we test it, here we fix it up, so make sure it's ready. Here, the whole world gets it played.
Oh, the Unity side is slow. But if you go to Unity Learn, and UI.
You'll be in competition.
I will put up these specific tutorials.
So when you
The Unity 3D itself has got great tutorials. You can spend a good 5 years watching all of them.
So as you can see, time's going to move along really fast. So at this stage, with
So
the
if you go to learn,
if we miss anything, it's hard to go backwards.
the Unity site is
So we go
slow.
along pretty quickly, but we're doing new stuff all the way. So that's what it is. And then there's just that crap. So I'll put that up on the server. And then
I'll put these links up.
by next week.
They're really nice. They're really good to learn.
Okay, now also on the server, that's not here. On the server, I don't have it here, but if you look on the server, there is a text document.
I'm going to record the next one as a separate video. So here we have just seen the user interface elements. The next one we are going to get the scripts.